What's up, guys? It's Steve here again from Scroll Rips. Wanted to pop on and talk about a little bit of a follow-on to the Destin Rivals reprint video that we posted earlier here, and kind of talk about the broader implications of it. So, what I mean by that is that in this particular reprint, we're seeing ETBs and booster boxes, and there'd kind of been this thought out there, never confirmed or guaranteed or anything like that, where Pokemon wouldn't reprint booster boxes of sets. Maybe they come out with more ancillary products, collection boxes type things, or more booster bundles or something like that, but not booster boxes in its entirety. And so, a lot of people, I think, in the space that currently see sealed Pokemon investing as a good avenue to go down. This can really impact that because the value used to be in stock a sealed case of booster boxes away, or you know I've got a sealed, couple sealed booster boxes or something like that, and it's at this high for Destin Rivals particularly. It's at this high price, $600. Man, I bought it at 400. Like I'm up $200. We're up 50% on it, and it's great. And then now you've got this reprint, and the price has drastically dropped down to all the way. I think it's like I said, around fourth, maybe in the 430s, somewhere around there. So it's a significant drop, right? And if you only got in at $400 a box, not a whole lot of gain right there. Now, it's close to 10%, right? Where it's sitting at right now, but the boxes haven't actually hit the market yet. So we don't know for sure exactly what it's going to do. My personal opinion is that it's not going to really drop the prices overall that much, because I don't really see, like I said, some of the distributions. I said this in the previous video that um, some of the distributors are charging such a high price that where the market price is currently, there's not a much of a margin really to be made there. And if you truly believe in the set and that it's actually going to rebound once the reprint and the dust settles, once the reprint goes through the retailers like Walmart and all that, and then it's off the shelves, I think it'll bounce back. I don't necessarily think it's going to be as drastic as being a straight line or a very steep line back to $600 a box, but it doesn't really make sense for shops to buy it at a high price and then just be putting it right out there for market or just under what current market is. There's not a whole lot of value there. So what I foresee happening is a lot of the places obviously taking that opportunity to bring more of that booster box Destin Rival stock in, and then letting it sit on the shelf for a little bit, maybe saying like, okay, once it hits this price, I'm gonna sell it, or maybe they just decide to hold on to it for a long time, and because they're bullish on it, right? So the overall implication I feel like this might have on investing in sealed product is that it creates a lot less stability. And by that I mean things that currently we see have been, quote unquote, out of print for a while. Well, we're seeing Destin Rivals get a reprint, and then now there's chatter about other sets possibly getting reprints and that sort of thing. So now it makes any of those things less stable, like where they are currently. It's like, okay, what's it like? Ascended Heroes ETBs are at I think high 160s right now. There's a good possibility that something like that could get reprinted. And if it gets reprinted, it's definitely going to come down from that current market price. The severity of it, I think can be disputed. Now I said definitely. Now let me back up. Very likely it would come down. Very likely it would come down. Most distros not going to be selling these, or if it gets reprinted and it goes out on shelves again, um, for something that's more of a modern set, and there's been a ton of demand. If that hits the shelves again, um, LGSs and stuff that are stuck holding Ascended ETBs that they bought from distributors at much higher prices of late because of the popularity. It's not that initial release ETB price. Distro's not selling it to them for even just like $40 a piece. They're probably selling to them. I'm just um, guessing here, probably closer to $100 a unit as it is now. Like, so, you know, people have access to it at MSRP. You know, if they get a little fearful, you're going to see LGSs start drop their prices and try to move it, get it off the shelves, that kind of thing. So that being said, is I think there's going to be, unless people are really risk averse, less people willing to buy things for an investment at these current high prices, right? If some of these sets that fall within the window of when Destined Rivals was originally printed, between then and now, anything can be reprinted. Booster boxes, ETBs, all that kind of stuff. So like anything's fair game. So while you thought booster boxes would be a safe investment to hold on to and have it appreciate and be like, well, they're not going to reprint it, so that's pretty stable. Now if I were in ETB cases, then maybe I'd be a little bit more fearful. Now that's not the case. It's kind of open season, right? Theoretically. Now, this reprint for Destined Rivals doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of booster boxes or cases really out there, at least to like LGSs slash online shops, that kind of thing. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot. There's more opportunity for the ETBs. So I don't think it'll shake that market up too much, but I think it's going to add some a little bit of fear to some people, especially if you're kind of a novice investor, um, thinking that, oh well, Ascended Heroes, people love the set. Um, Shoot, I'll buy a case of it right now at current market price because I have confidence that's going to go up. Well, there's a good chance it gets reprinted. So market price could actually drop even further, because if it were to get reprinted in the very near future and become widely available again at MSRP, or at least people getting it at that and flipping it and trying to flip it real quick, that would drive the market price down on secondary market, then people who paid more than that are going to be left holding the bag, right? So I just don't think there's going to be as many people in here um, going in on sets that, yeah, maybe have had a steady trajectory upwards, but are still possibly going to get reprinted. That adds another layer of risk to it. So I think it's, from a collector standpoint, it's a good thing. I think it kind of takes some of the investing appeal out of Pokemon, which I don't think was ever the intention of Pokemon, to print stuff to be left on a shelf and traded as if it were stocks and that kind of thing. And so I think it does provide opportunities to more of the collectors to get access to products at more reasonable prices, and I think that's a great thing for everybody, for the community in general. And to see things getting reprinted like this is a real positive, because we are less likely to see some of these astronomical prices out there. If things are, if you're kind of always, you have these people, looking over their shoulder thinking like, oh, is this going to be the time where it gets announced? And, I think people would be less likely to kind of be hoarding a lot of product, probably invest less in sealed product and more on just trying to move things um, while the market's good. You know what I mean? Resell them, break down the cases, sell the booster boxes, and make the margin there as opposed to holding it and kind of hoarding it out of the market, that kind of thing. So, I'm all for more stuff getting opened, all that kind of stuff. And I will say, to be completely transparent, I don't have any investments in sealed product. The only quote unquote like investments really I have is just my personal collection. And that is not, I have like a couple pieces of sealed product. It's very minimal. It's 1 or 2 units of anything. It's not, it's not like I have a big, a big thing on the line with these. So I just think it's interesting um, from my perspective as a very young, early point of a business, and seeing all these things, all these scenarios come up where it's like, okay, what would I do in this position? You know, if I had to buy them at this, like, what would I do? If I had opportunity to buy it at this point, obviously I would buy it, but would I like just try to flip it right away and try to make like a few dollars per unit? And it's interesting because it changes a lot with where you are. And currently in my business, like, if I can't liquidate something pretty quickly, um, it's not really um, something I'm interested in at the current moment, right? I'm very new, still trying to get a lot of um, cash flow opportunities, keep things flowing, and continue to be able to keep the shop stocked and all that. So just something to pontificate on, and interesting to see what's going to happen with the market down the line. With everything being reprintable, and it being in booster boxes and ETBs and that kind of thing, then um, nothing's off limits. Um, how is the environment of Pokemon investing going to change? So if you guys have opinions, obviously you can tell me I'm right, wrong, or you're indifferent in the comments. But appreciate you guys' support. Again, you can catch us live on YouTube and TikTok at Scroll Rips. That's typically going to be Monday or Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. And then you can always hit up our shop, scrowrips.com, and you can place sealed orders there anytime. So appreciate you guys. Also, we're on Instagram. Check us out there if you haven't already. And if you'd be so kind, hit that subscribe button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks, guys. See ya.